Hi everyone, it's Erica. I'm going to go ahead and continue with our readings today. We are on Chapter 2 of Volume 1, Section 3. If you would like to be on our mailing list, you can go ahead and send me an email. I've written my email down below, and I'll keep you updated with the discussions we have on Monday evenings. Even if you're not able to join, some of the discussions are, I'd say all of the discussions are super interesting, but this text is what's guiding us. We'll go ahead and start with an opening prayer. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vivishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bolo Satguru Shri Maharaj Ki. Om Bolo Shri Swami Vishnudevananda Maharaj Ki. Ch2 Swami Jyotirmayananda, who put together this translation for us. I was listening to a really interesting, another YouTube video, which I'm going to make a note here to link. It was talking about this idea of the long dream. The Aboriginals talk about this, that the Yoga Vasistha, the Aboriginals have their own mythology, philosophy, this sort of thing, but the Yoga Vasistha aligns with this, and that we're living in a dream, and it's up to us with our intentions to put forth our self-effort. Now, I don't think that we're quite into that yet. The discussion today is on the nature of the world process and the 3 periods of time. Let me go ahead and share that. Okay, so here is the section online. If you go to archive.org and type in Yoga Vasistha Jyotirmayananda, the name is here on the bottom if you need help with that spelling. Okay, so we just went through the introduction. That now, this was another interesting topic on this video I just watched. In the Bhagavad Gita, if you're familiar with it, it's another classic yoga text. It's from the point of view of Sri Krishna, who is God, talking to Arjuna, who is the student. In this case, I didn't quite realize this till this video, Rama is God playing the role of a student, and Sage Vasistha is the human. So we're having God ask the human about what the goals are in life. And that was interesting to me. Okay, so Sri Vasistha said, and he's talking to Rama, I will impart that wisdom which I have received from the divine creator, Brahma, for the cessation of the miseries of the world. Attracted by this grand proposition, Sri Rama asked, O sage, before you begin to expound the wisdom that you have received from Brahma, please remove this doubt from my mind. How is it that the son of Vyasa, Sri Shuka, attained disembodied liberation while Sri Vyasa continued to be in his physical body? So there's said to be the 2 forms of liberation. I'm looking to see if I can find that definition here. Yes, okay. Videha Mukti is disembodied liberation, and I don't see the word for the embodied. The idea is moksha being liberation, that we can be free from anger, lust, greed, hatred, jealousy, and live our lives freely. But we can also experience this when we don't have a body, when we move on to the next world. So he's asking, how is it that you can have embodied versus embodied liberation? Oh, of course, Swami Jyotirmayananda explains here. Sri Rama wanted to understand whether liberation demanded termination of the physical existence or not. Since this physical body is an effect of ignorance, How can one reconcile the existence of the physical body when ignorance is destroyed? At the same time, if liberated sages were to vanish from the earth, how could the continuity of the scriptural teachings be possible? Sri Vasistha comprehended the profundity of Sri Rama's question, then explained the nature of the world in order to enlighten him regarding the possibility of self-realization even in life. Um, yeah, I mean, it's a very profound question, and it's interesting. What's super cool about these teachings is that all of the questions you've had, and like if you've been doing this long enough, there's an idea that you have to give up everything. Um, all of these texts really dive into the questions, the confusions, I suppose, that all of us have. And so one of the confusions is that liberation is only possible without a body. But we're going to explain this here. Okay. Sri Vasistha said, "The self, with capital S, illumines this world, just as the sun illumines the earth. Numerous dust particles scintillate in a single ray of sun. Much in the same way, numerous universes scintillate like dust particles in a single ray of the self. Who can count the dust particles? In the same way, who can count the millions and millions of universes that are illumined by the light of the self? These universes are refractions of consciousness caused by the mind, conditioned by subtle desires. Therefore, they do not exist spread out in real time and space. They are experienced in the heart of the jiva, or individual soul. When one dies, he perceives his astral experiences within his own heart. And within his very heart, he perceives himself reborn in a different setup of the world process. Um, this idea of, that we aren't this body, this is really discussed a lot in the yogic text, but in every religion. I mean, in the Christian religion, we're talking about, heaven after death. And so what goes on? Well, obviously the body doesn't go on. So it's this other part of us, um, yeah, I won't go much further than that here, except for that um, the astral world is a subtler world than the physical. Thus, one follows the course of movement determined by his karma, or actions, and upasana, devout meditations. Millions have died in the past, millions are dying now, and millions will die in the future. Different forms of world processes are experienced by every soul due to the presence of vasanas, subtle desires, in the depths of the heart, unconscious mind. This world does not exist independent of the mind conditioned by subtle desires. Therefore, all perceptions of realities and things existing in the world of time and space are illusory. The vasanas contain the possibility of numerous embodiments. Just as a plantain stem contains many layers, so vasanas hold layer upon layer of different embodiments. Only wisdom can remove the vasanas. With the removal of vasanas, the world is realized as Brahman, the Absolute. Therefore, it is not just the physical extinction of the body, but the enlightening wisdom which bestows liberation on a soul. In the vast ocean of the supreme reality of the Absolute, the worlds arise like waves and ripples. Some waves seem to be identical, some similar, some totally different. All these possibilities are present because the self is unbounded and infinite. All the sages here have embodied many times in different forms. You, O Rama, have also incarnated many different times to relieve the burden of earth, to destroy demonic forces, and to promote the victory of divine forces. A liberated sage, though possessing a body, is not affected by the world. This reminds me of the bodhisattvas of the Buddhist tradition. I am in no way a scholar of this, and I don't know too much, but the idea is that um, bodhisattvas are sages that take birth until everyone is liberated. A liberated sage, though possessing a body, is not affected by the world. His inner vision, having negated the reality of the world, recognizes the awareness of non-dual Brahman, even as a wave would recognize the reality of the stupendous ocean. It is the veil of ignorance that causes fickleness and distraction in the mind, and deludes the soul into becoming identified with the perishable physical body. It is ignorance that causes restless cravings and grief in the human mind. Therefore, when ignorance is destroyed by knowledge, a sage experiences freedom from restlessness. He experiences infinite satisfaction and supreme bliss. Um, the idea is that we can act in the world without anxieties. And there seems to be like gradations of this. Certainly, the reason why people are attracted to the practice of yoga is because they feel better. They don't feel as anxious. They don't feel as distracted. And the idea is that you can act in the world without any of this restlessness. And then this is a sage. So next time we'll continue with the glory of self-effort. So we finally get into self-effort, which is what motivated me, along with Grace, to get back on here and be sharing with you all. We close with a prayer. Om Purnamidam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bolo Satguru Shivananda Maharaja Ki. Om Bolo Shri Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaja Ki. Jai Ma. Jai to you all.